Hard to believe I'm out here in a t-shirt, actually sweating on February 20 whatever, 23 maybe. And I just wanted to share a quick announcement about, about my blueberries, but about everybody's plants. That if you have a moment to go out and check on them and capitalize and make sure that this doesn't happen to you, highly advised. Let me show you what I mean. So this is about as bad as this issue can get. This is massive frost heaving. Now, this is in muck, so the organic matter percentage here is, above 50%. This is not a normal soil. So you probably won't see anything quite this bad. But if you do a fall planting of any kind of woody perennial, or herbaceous perennial for that matter, and it's in freshly tilled soil or even just soil that's been loosened by a shovel, and you haven't mulched it sufficiently, you stand to get this kind of issue. Now, in my estimation, this is salvageable. I highly doubt that this entire plant has been killed, but it certainly needs to be addressed right now because today's 60 degrees and we are gonna get back down below into single digits, probably not below zero, but we're gonna get single digits again. This is gonna freeze rock solid. So if this kind of frost heaving with the roots unprotected from soil, it allows the plant to go through incredible extreme heat and cold. This is south in this direction, the sky. So this half of the roots are gonna get just pounded with sun on warm days. They're gonna dry out. Blueberries can't really tolerate any serious root drying. I mean, no perennial really can. And then it's gonna get cold again and freeze solid. So anyway, what I'm doing right now is this whole little field here is only gonna take me an hour. I'm just going around each plant with a hoe, pulling in soil and some more mulch around each plant, banking it up so that the roots are protected. A lot of them did get pushed out. This is extreme. Like I said, you're not gonna normally see this amount of frost heaving in most soil types, but if the soil has been tilled heading into winter and you got some really strong freeze-thaw cycles, it might happen. And you can, if you act right now during that first big thaw and you go in and recover them, or I could have done this earlier with some bales of hay even when it was super frozen, but I like this now because I'm getting wet soil up around the roots first before I put mulch on. So they're really gonna get protected for the rest of the winter. Right now, these plants are still 100% fully dormant. A week ago it was below zero, so they are not woken up at all, which means their roots are right now still as hardy as they get. They can still dry out because roots of deciduous plants still need to take moisture up in their roots. So if it's so super frozen for long periods of time, they can actually desiccate. But that's not happening here because the soil is nice and wet. But anyway, this is a very good opportunity to go check on any plantings that you did last fall and make sure that they're not getting pushed out of the soil by the action of freeze-thaw. This is the same freeze-thaw action that will also be useful in frost seeding, so you can get cover crops down into soil if it's been tilled heading into winter. But it's a very important soil dynamic, and at the end of winter especially, and you have to be able to use it to your advantage and to make sure that it doesn't cause damage. So get out there and check. So about half an hour for this field of mounding up soil and mulch around each plant. As you may imagine, the more water that's in the soil, the more extreme the frost heaving. And the south edge here next to this ditch is a little bit lower, and so this row is in peril. Some of them are in pretty much saturated soil, end popped out of the soil, which is a pretty bad look for perennial plants. So we'll see what happens. There will probably be a few losses out of this field, but I would say that just that half an hour of fixing this problem right now probably saved, I don't know, a quarter of the plants in here that would have either died or been set back an entire year from stress. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they're not all super stressed. That's always a possibility, but it is definitely a good time to check the first big thaw at the end of a real cold snap, or here potentially at the end of winter. Well, that might be a little bit of an exaggeration. We're gonna get some more winter, but we're heading towards warming weather. The first time the ground really starts to thaw, very good time to go check on fall plantings and make sure that there aren't any issues, and you can catch a few that can save you some plants at this time. So good thing to do.